Hi guys, welcome back and a very happy new year. I hope your new year has been to a great and a wonderful start. I've been a bit MIA because it's New Year's, my entire family was together, like people were flying from different parts of the world. So, just it was pure family time for the last 3 days. And now I'm back and we're gonna continue where we left off. I believe we left off in the B2B space and we are yet to continue the same thing what we were doing in 2024. We are yet to continue even in 2025. So in the entire textile series, right, we were still in the middle of that B2B ka value chain we were supposed to study, right? And now we have four more companies: PDS, Indo, Welspun, and Thomas Scott. Now I do not know how much I'll be able to cover in this video, but you'll get to know from the heading. How much ever we can cover, we'll do in this video, and agla video mein other two we will do. Okay. So first, let us talk about PDS Industries. What do these people do? Now, see, in this entire value chain, right, we've had two players. One is the yarn and fabric people, who will manufacture this yarn and fabric. The second player was who will do this yarn and fabric. They will buy this yarn and fabric and convert it to a garment. Okay. Now, PDS is a completely different ballgame. They are not involved in yarn, manufacturing, anything. Okay. They are like a middleman who will overlook the entire project for you, who will take the responsible for the entire project in this textile industry. Okay. You might have some project managers, right? If you are in an IT company or any other company also. Now, what does a project manager do? They are not involved in creating a product or anything, right? But their main job is to make sure that every single unit of the work is happening properly, right? It's similarly over here also. I'll give you again, by the way, if you want to understand PDS ka model in depth, head over to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find it over there in the business analysis playlist. Okay. Now I'll just give you a quick glimpse. Okay. Now let's say I'm just giving you an example. Okay. Let's say Tommy Hilfiger is a brand. Okay. And Tommy Hilfiger doesn't want to do anything. They just want to chill. They want to milk the novelty that is coming from the Tommy Hilfiger brand. That is it. They don't want to take the headache of any of the parts in the business. Okay. So now what Tommy Hilfiger will do, they will give all the work to PDS. Okay. Now it is PDS ka duty. First they have to sit and design ke like, okay, it is now summer spring collection aane wala hai in the March. So what is the kind of design, what is the new kind of launch in terms of dresses, in terms of shirts or any other product that we do. That is their first headache. In this we call it as design as a service. Okay. So basically to design all this launch new collection. So this is number one, first thing. Okay. The second thing, after they do the design, which is part one of the job, design as a service, then they go to a sourcing as a service. Now when the sourcing as a service is which we call it as SaaS normally, like now for every top that I do, every dress that I do, you need a different kind of material, right? Like sometimes you might need satin, sometimes you might need silk. Now it is your job at PDS ko job to go find the cheapest and the best quality of material. Now it could be from China, it could be from Hong Kong, it could be some anywhere else. They will go, they will source that material and get that material all the way. They will take care of the job to find that material and get that material into the manufacturing facility. Okay. Now think about this Tommy Hilfiger or any of these Calvin Klein and all. They're not Asian brands or anything, right? They're foreign brands. They are from the UK. They are from the Northern American region, right? And these people might not, the laws that they have are completely different than the laws that are followed in Asian countries or any other countries, right? Because it's two different ball games, two different kind of world. Now maybe Tommy Hilfiger doesn't want to take the headache, of getting this material over here, taking care of the manufacturing facility, even not just taking care of the manufacturing facility, even they don't want to take care of the headache of outsourcing the manufacturing work to anybody. So PDS, what they will do, they will also get it manufactured for you. Okay. Either they can do everything as a single job, basically they can only design for you, or they can just source a material for you and send it to whoever your manufacturing facilities, or they will take care of the entire value chain, which is basically design, provide you a service basically of designing your clothes, sourcing your clothes, sourcing your materials for the clothes, and then sending it from that destination, collecting it from a supplier and sending it to the various manufacturing facilities in Bangladesh. After that, make sure once a cloth is manufactured, you have to go through quality check, right? Make sure there is no mishaps in your clothes, make sure everything is of the right quality, label that product and send it after that to various retail sources that are there, either in UK, in the Northern America, like that. Okay. After that is done, sometimes what they do is they also do branding also. Okay. Matlab kya, let's say if Tommy Hilfiger ka, they have to take care of social media engagement, Instagram channels, various marketing, branding things they will do for you. So basically they are that middleman who will take care of all your work, basically like a project manager here. Now I told you that they also take care of manufacturing. So manufacturing means they have khud ka 2 plant in Bangladesh. Okay, that is it. But having said that, this manufacturing is hard because see, they manufacture for so many people, they get the manufacturing done. It is these 2 plants are hardly anything. They hardly contribute low single digit to their revenue. Manufacturing is still not a huge part of their revenue. you. They outsource the manufacturing to other third party people in Bangladesh. They have a bunch of contacts, they get it done. So basically, like I told you, kya hai, either PDS can provide one single service, such as they can only be involved in designing for you, they can only be involved in sourcing it for you, they can only be involved in just getting your clothes manufactured from certain plant in Bangladesh, right? Or they could only be involved in you taking care of your branding work. Okay, either one of these things, or or all together, or multiple things, which means what, they take care of the entire value chain, from designing, sourcing, manufacturing, and branding work also. So this is exactly what PDS does. Okay, now here it is a very interesting thing, is because यहाँ पे if you look at the revenue, from where the revenue comes is the geography you look at it, most of the revenue comes from Europe, UK, and Northern America. Okay, and what was the simple problem over here, इनका यहाँ पे demand इतना ज़्यादा था at once upon a time, that the people also started giving a lot of supply, so overstock बन गया था, right? Overstock की वजह से क्या हुआ था, then once the inflation came up, as a result people were not willing to buy, right? And every retailer had stock to the max, so they had to give a lot of discounting, inventory में. So obviously think about it, अगर Calvin Klein का एक retail outlet में if there is so much stock, right, he will obviously not ask the main Calvin Klein to supply to him, right? Like अरे भाई और भी दो, he won't ask. If Calvin Klein is only not then obviously Calvin Klein also will not place an order with PDS for the upcoming collection के like इतना करो. So that is why these people suffered a lot over the last 2 years. Okay, and then things started getting better and better for them. In fact, I've been tracking this company now for 3 years. Okay, so I don't remember this situation, when did it exactly happen, like I can't pinpoint to which year, but I remember in one of the Q4 call, okay, when all this inflation thing was happening in Europe and Northern America, when we go from Q4 to Q1, I do not remember it was last year or the year before that. That is something I don't have, I can't vouch for the dates, but they told कि like हम आगे जाके, I know this entire year has been very subdued for us, but we are very bullish. We see that the demand condition is getting better, ये stocking का जो हो रहा है, it is getting better, and we see आगे जाके we expect a double digit kind of growth, back to the glory days, how it was pre-COVID, like 30%, 40% kind of growth. That is what they vouch for. Okay, like we'll go back to the glory days, we will at least do a double digit 20% kind of volume growth we will target for. And I still remember all this time the stock had been beaten down, because वो 40% growth say hardly any growth, and now the management came and they were very very bullish in their call. Okay, and I think the stock went from like 300 350 to like 550 600 in just like between that one quarter, between Q4 to Q1. Okay, and then the Q1 comes, Q1 ka numbers comes, it's flat, sales is flat, absolutely no growth. I think it was just a mere low single digit kind of growth. Okay, and they were like, no, things are going to get better. It is just we didn't again, the stocking problem is still continuing, but it will get better. Okay, we are very confident it will get better. Then after that again Q2 ka numbers come, Q2 is again flat. Q2 has not been that great for them. Then they came and told like H1 mein there was this Ukraine ka war ke wajah se we had a lot of problem, and in H2 we can clock, then they revise the guidance from like I think double digit growth to like single digit 10 to 15% kind of growth, and they clocked in Q3 and Q4, that is in H2 they clocked that. Okay, and after that it's been a really good journey for them. After that they've been continuously striving for a double digit kind of growth. Things are getting better for them. I do not remember exactly which quarter this was, I mean which year it was. I remember the quarter Q1 and Q2 was meh, and Q3 and Q4 was better for them, so you'll have to check that out. Okay, so this was a story for them. Like I told you, the management is striving really hard, but a lot of it for them depends on the environmental conditions to go for their conditions to go better. Okay, now talking about this quarter, if you see this quarter also, it has been really well for them. If you see the sales has been up by 35%. If you look at their gross merchandise value, this is a most important metric over here. If you're tracking PDS, GMV will give you an idea of what the volume growth is like. So the GMV is up by 39%. Now what is the difference between gross merchandise value and the sale is, let's say for example, if you are providing sourcing as a service, okay, that is, which means what, you are basically collecting some materials from China and everything. Okay, now let's say 100 meters ka silk is like probably 1000 rupees. Okay, so you're getting 1000 rupees ka value ka maal, getting from from one place to another, you're getting that job work done basically, that is your GMV. But all the GMV is not sales na, because ultimately aapka jo material ka paisa hai, it is not your sale, right? Ultimately, so GMV is completely different than sale. Every sale is a GMV, but every GMV is not a sale. Okay, it is similar to like how I explained the Zomato ka thing, right? If you go and buy your food from Zomato, if you place an order, you will have 200 rupees ka, probably, you know, you bought an idli sambar. Okay, then you have 10 rupees ka platform fee, then you have 50 rupees ka GST charges, so 260, and then you have 30 rupees ka delivery charges. So totally it has become 300 rupees is your bill. Okay, so this 300 rupees is your GMP. But will Zomato earn all the 300 rupees? No, Zomato is earning probably 30 to 40 rupees delivery charge and platform charge, right? So that 40 rupees is your sale for Zomato, but 300 rupees is your GMV. Now you understand, every GMV, you know, every GMV is a sale, but every sale is not a yeah, did I tell it right? I hope I told it right. Yeah, every GMV is not a sale, but every sale is a GMV, right? Like that 30 to 40 rupees, which is a sale for Zomato, is considered as a part of GMV also. But the other way around, right? All that 300 rupees is not considered as Zomato ka sale. So the same thing over here also. I hope you understood the difference between GMV and sale. Now, if you look at the PAT is hardly up by 5.6%. Now, why is that the case? Like sales to itna bada 35% year on year, say, but PAT hardly grew by like what, 5.6%. There are multiple reasons for it. One is the acquisitions that they have done earlier. I think a year ago they acquired this Ted Baker. I don't know if you all know, it's a very popular brand, especially in the European region. I think even here also in India, they acquired this brand, the Ted Baker in UK, and they were responsible for all the retailing part of it. Okay, and here this has been going through a lot of structural changes at the end of the day. That is one of the reasons, right? Earlier also this Ted Baker posed a lot of problem because of this Ted Baker, unka employment cost increased, tax mein kuch loch aata, you know, they had to pay a higher amount of tax, and that problem continues even right now with Ted Baker. Okay, that is one thing. But the main problem right now is like you can see, right, the sales has been up by 35%, which means what, the US and Europe ka jo retail economy hai, that is going up really well, because if that doesn't go up, the brands will not place order with PDS. Now this has been going well for them, it is going well, the retail part. Now what the retail part is doing is they're coming and arguing with PDS right now. I'm just giving you, like, explaining in the simple terms, like, you know, that since they're giving this huge bulk of order now after a long period of time, they want a discount for everything. Okay, so obviously यहाँ पे, you know, like PDS doesn't have a pricing power at the end of the day, because if not you, I can go to somebody else also and get the work done, right? That is always there in the textile industry. You do not have a lot of power, especially being in a B2B industry, and that is why you will see when their margins are like razor thin at the end of the day, right? So that is one of the reason, you know, like they have been giving, you know, they do not have a lot of pricing power over here. They had to go back and forth on price with a lot of brands, adding to the Red Sea crisis, which causes delay in shipment, you know, which puts a lot of in the expense side. And like I told you, there are certain branches over here, like certain acquisitions they've done in the past, which has been dragging their bottom line. Okay, so all of these reasons is why you see there is no amount of operating leverage over here. So that is the only cause of concern. Other than that, if you look at it, they have done, I think, 430 crore of QIP, out of which 80 crore they have done to, you know, replace, you know, get rid of the debt, and the other 300 crore or 300 to 320 crore odd is lying in their FD. Okay, recently they also signed many other brands. One such brand was Fashion Nova. So Fashion Nova is a very fast fashion brand, just like, you know, earlier we had in India, we had this Chinese brand called Shein, right? Similarly, Fashion Nova is just like that, but it is in the US. They're very, very popular in the US. You know, basically you see any stars wearing a dress, they will do a copycat version of it and sell it to you in like less than a week. Okay, so that is the kind of they are. Now with fast fashion, the thing is what, you know, you need to have really high turnover of SKUs, right? Because every week you're starting, see, when you deal with brands like Calvin Klein, Moschino, Tommy Hilfiger, these big brands, you work according to season. They have their summer spring collection, they have their winter autumn collection, all of this. Like I do not know how many of you follow fashion over here, because I think majority of my audience is men. So I don't know if you are very thorough with these kind of terms, you know, like you know, you have this Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, that goes like summer, spring, you know, all of this. So they work according to like season, autumn season, summer season, winter season, like that. Whereas fast fashion, you know, every day, every time you have to start getting new launch, every week sometimes, you know, new arrivals, you know, and you work according to a launch. You will only have limited period of pieces, but your rotation is very, very high at the end of the day, which means what, your manufacturing capacity has to be completely upbeat, right? Like you have to be able to deliver fast, you know, churn designs at a faster rate. You have to be able to work also at a faster rate. So it becomes very, very difficult to cater to a fast fashion space. And the fact that PDS has been able to do this, because all of these, while now they were catering to the traditional traditional fashion houses. Now they're starting to cater to Fashion Nova, so they're getting noticed in the US, and other brands, other fast fashion brands are trying to tie up with them over here. So that is a good news. But overall, yes, one thing is obviously happy, you see that things are getting better for them. At least they haven't under promised, over what do you tell, over promised and under delivered like they've done in the past. Things are getting better for them. Whatever they've guided for, the double digit growth, it is really happening. The only question or the only ambiguity remains the bottom line, because like I told you, this is like no pricing power at all. Another negative I'll tell you over here, the reason why they have razor thin margin is because these people have like millions of subsidies, okay, like so many subsidies they have that you lose count of it, and every subsidy competes with other one. Okay, let's say for example there is a subsidiary A and B, both of them belonging to the same company can compete for one customer over here. So that is one thing I just don't understand about this model. So that's that. Great, good numbers. Now I wouldn't say great, good numbers. Just the bottom line over here needs to improve at the end of the day. Okay, and hopefully that Ted Baker and other acquisitions that they have done, finally goes, see some green shoot. Okay. Then the second company that we will do is Indo Industries. Okay, so Indo Industry is a B2B, ये manufacture करता है, but unlike Bella Casa, Kitex, SP Apparels, where they manufacture garments, Indo Industry manufactures आपका different kind of home items, such as it could be towels, bed sheets, etc. Different home items that are there, they manufacture that, pillowcases and all of it. Okay, so this is the basic model of Indo Industries. Okay, that is it. Now talking about here also, if you look at their mix, their majority around 80 to 90% comes from export, and the rest comes from the domestic market, that is India. Okay, now over here if you see, the sales has been literally flat and the PAT has been down by 29%. Volume that is there, volume is also down. Volume last time it was 28 million quarters they did, this time they did 27.8 million quarters. Now reason why all sales is flat, volume is down is because, as you know, in this Red Sea there is this crisis, right, because of Israel-Hamas war, that there is no ships are allowed to pass, only limited amount of ships are allowed to pass. So obviously there you can't get container ka space. Agar aapka container ka space nahi mil raha hai, you can't transport your goods at the end of the day. That is a problem faced by this company. There is a lot of this, because of this Red Sea crisis, a lot of the shipment that was supposed to happen in Q2 didn't go through. It is getting delayed to Q3. As a result, iske wajah se they lost a lot of sales, and that is why you're seeing the numbers as it is. Okay, here also, and again like I told you na, ki like yahan pe whatever the sale that was supposed to happen in Q2 got pushed to Q3. Now until and unless you put it on the ship and you get that receipt, once it reaches, this goods reaches your dock of your customer, you get a receipt ki like yes, it has been done. Until and unless that receipt comes, first of all, I'll tell you, this is a very complex process, because my mother is also working in a garment industry, right? So I just know this, like it is such a tedious process. Okay, first of all you have to book a ship, and then after that you get this from, you have to have all this insurance and everything. Okay, and then you get this receipt from your bank, like okay, you have sent something in the ship. Once it goes from this Indian ka dock, Indian ka koi bhi port se dock se jata hai, it reaches their ship, their dock mein, their their what do you call that, dock, their ship, it lands. After that, over there they will collect the goods, they will send it to the bank, the shipping people will send it to the bank, like okay, once that bank people that is there have to send a receipt to to these people, to intercount people, like yeah, I have received your goods. Until then you cannot clock it as sales, then until then it will be a part of your inventory. So that is what has happened over here, because you couldn't clock that sale, the inventory is really piled up over here at the end of the day, like although they couldn't do it. So that is one of the reasons over here, like you'll see that spike in inventory, and also you will see that operating leverage nahi mila hai. Other than that, if you see, यहाँ पे बहुत कुछ capex चल रहा है. When I tell capex, they have done a lot of acquisition. They have acquired 2 companies in the US called as Modern Home Textiles and Fluidix they have acquired, and another company called as Vamsuta they have acquired. Now all of these companies all together, especially the first 2 companies that I mentioned, they can give you roughly an annual run rate of 100 crore. That is what you can expect from them. 100 crore is something, 100 crore of revenue, something that you can expect from them. So that's that with Indo Industries. I mean, there is nothing much over here to talk about, other than they can decently clock a 12% kind of growth. They had guided actually for a volume of 110 to 115 million meters. Okay, and in H1 they were able to do 53 million meters. The problem over here is, if you look at their pattern in their industry, there is a huge seasonality in Q3. Q3 is not a good season for them. It is a weak quarter for them. So already only 53 is done. Q3 is a little bit of weak quarter, and Q4, I mean, it is hard to see if, the other half, almost half of the volumes, can it be delivered alone in, because Q4 will have to like really run the race over here. So that becomes a question mark. I think to achieve this guidance that they've given, 110 to 115 million meters that they will do, because of this Red Sea crisis, the issue that has been happening, it could be very hard to clock that volume growth, and because of that it can be very hard to clock that sales also. Okay, so that's that about Indo Count Industries. I mean, not really something very interesting, very out of the top happening. Okay, then the other company that we will be doing is, I think I'll cover all of it in one video. Okay, like all the four in one video. I think that would be much better. Then the third video, the third company that we'll be doing is Welspun Living Limited. Okay, again, similar to Indo Count Industries that we have, Welspun Living is also, they're in the same category. These people also manufacture your bed sheets, your towels, different kinds of towels, kitchen towels, bath towels, all this, आपका quilt जो बोलते हैं, and the big bed sheet, as you can see lying on my bed, all of these things they make. Okay, now here if you look at them, they also are involved in another thing called as flooring solution. Okay, so if you look at the home textiles contribute 92%, and the 8% such as providing carpet tiles, and other block-in tiles, all these carpeting solutions or flooring solutions जो हम बोलते हैं, this contributes 8% to the revenue. Same, export contributes more, domestic minimal over here. Okay, when you talk about this home textile, again there are multiple things. They sell in India as well as abroad. Okay, and again in abroad they sell it to like all these big brands like Tesco, Costco, all these they do this white labeling for them. They also have licensed brand, like you might see this Disney, now you'll see that Frozen ka towel and all that, Frozen characters they make for all these licensing brands also, they do it. Other than that, if you see, other than that, even in India, they sell it to all these big hotels, institutions like Taj Ko Hotel, Conrad Ko Hotel. They sell it to them. They sell it in quick commerce sites under their own brand, such as Blinkit, Swiggy में बेचता है अपना own brand Welspun Living के अंदर. Okay, and other than that, obviously in India also for many other brands also they manufacture. So basically all the three है. वो दूसरा brand के लिए भी manufacture करता है, अपना खुद का भी brand है, and at the end of the day licensing भी करता है. Basically you take somebody's character, somebody's brand name and do it and do manufacturing for them also. So all in all, this is what they do at the end of the day. Okay, now if you look at over here, again if you look at over here, I think one of the reason that people were really hyping this company up is because they had come out in their PPT about guidance. Okay, I'll just give you quickly the guidance ka numbers. In FY24, they had around a revenue of 9,825 crore. Okay, and they were targeting in 3 years, FY27 mein, they will target around 15,000 crores in revenue. Okay, that's roughly like around 12% CAGR you could expect. That is the kind of growth rate. And they told कि like उनका ROE जो है, ROE will go from 15.8 to 21 to 22%. Okay, now how will this ROE improve? Because ROE का तीन मुद्दा है. One is volume growth, one is value growth, and the other one is financial leverage. How will they get volume growth? They will focus on their own brands. They will try to go into different locations with their own brands, such as Australia, Middle East, try it into new geographies, जिसके वजह से volume growth आएगा. And not just this, with the existing licensed brand जो है, even that also they wanted to increase. They wanted to start working with major other brands, so the more brands educated, the more volume growth you're going to get. So this is one part. Second, value growth is because they wanted to target a little bit of premium and niche customers so they can have a better pricing power over here. Okay, so this is how they would see volume and value growth आएगा, and as a result you will see the ROE improve. अगर ROE improve होते हैं, obviously यहाँ पे sales भी improve होने वाला है. Okay, but the question remains over here at the end of the day कि like you're targeting a 12% kind of CAGR over the next 3 years. The biggest question is, it's not about like guidance has been really great and everything, but is 12% CAGR really is really interesting or not? I mean, that is something as an audience you will have to answer. Like I mean, I understand the guidance is there, but guidance is just 12% ka guidance. So is it really interesting or not? That I will leave it up to you. Okay. Now over here also, like I told you, इनका बहुत सारे capex चल रहा है. At the end of the day, total capex is also really great. I think this entire year they're doing a capex of 800 crore, and the next year they will do a capex of 709 crore. All of this for what at the end of the day? To achieve that revenue target of that 9,825, say 15,000 crore ka revenue, which is like a 12% CAGR over the next 3 to 4 years. That is what they are expecting. Okay. Now talking about the Q2 FY25 numbers, Q2 FY25 का numbers, if you see, sales is up by 15%. Guidance कितना था? 12%, किया है 15%. Well, but PAT is flat. Okay, now why is PAT flat? Because expenses has risen up. Expense has increased because of this Red Sea crisis. कंटेनर नहीं मिल रहा, कंटेनर का प्राइसेस बहुत ज्यादा है. As a result, because of which operating leverage नहीं है, EPS का growth भी नहीं है, and as a shareholder you need EPS का growth for you to make money also at the end of the day, right? So that is a bit of a position over here कि like guidance दिया है, achieve कर रहा है at the end of the day, but having said that operating leverage is not there. And again, what I didn't also like is the management kept using the word cautiously optimistic over and over again, which is basically telling you कि like when like आगे जाके भी probably this condition that is there where you don't get operating leverage can be there. And I mean, see, even they can't do anything, right? It is out of their control. Koi kaha pe somebody is doing a war somewhere, and these people sitting in India, their companies there, they are suffering. As a result, the employees who are working in that company might not get a bonus this year. I mean, it's such a weird life, right? Like somebody else is fighting something, and somebody else sitting on another part of the world who has no relationship with this is like continuing to suffer. So again, this is the only thing, and they kept telling in the con call ki like hopefully this Red Sea ka crisis goes out, is completely over, and then it would give them a big relief at the end of the day. So that is it. Overall, good guidance. I think this is one such company who's been really trying hard. They've given the guidance, they're trying everything in their power. Capex kar raha hai. Because of this capex, actually you can see that their kitna tha wo? Towel capacity will increase to 1 lakh metric ton, and bedsheet capacity will increase to 144 million meters. I told you, right, they're doing a capex of 800 crore this year and around 709 crore for the next 2 years. That is what they're targeting, right? And as a result, kya hoga? Aapka, they're trying to penetrate into newer geographies. Volume growth aega even from this capex and the newer geographies. Value growth aega because they're targeting very premium clients and very pricing their products such way, and they're targeting that 15,000 crore in sales in projected for FY27. So hopefully they're able to do that. Again, both with Welspun and Indo Industries, you see that bottom line is into a lot of pressure just because of one thing, Red Sea ka crisis, वहाँ पे container का charge. But I believe Welspun has done way better because Welspun ka at least the sales growth is there, unlike your Indo Industries. Okay. Yeah, mic is on. Anyways, the last company that we will be doing is Thomas Scott India Limited. Okay. Now, when you talk about Thomas Scott India Limited, it's a B2B company. They manufacture clothes. Okay, basically they have their own brand. They manufacture for that also, and they manufacture for other people's brand like HRX and other people. Okay, and यहाँ पे if you look at Thomas Scott, right, it is not a, I would say it's not a textile company. It is a data company at the end of the day. I mean, I mean their business model is they manufacture clothes, and for their own brand and other people's brand, and they sell it directly on D2C sites. मतलब क्या? आपका Myntra, Amazon, Flipkart, direct to consumer, that is where they sell. But you might also ask me, right, like what is so special about it? Like everybody else is also doing the same thing. Like isme kya hai? Like I told you, it is actually a data company, a technology company that is masking as a textile company. Okay, and the founder over here, I forgot his name. I think his name was Vedant. He's I think 27 to 28 years old, just a couple of years older to me, right? And his story is very fascinating. That he loves technology, he loves data science, and how we combined this with fashion. Okay, now I'll explain you as like why I've been telling you like why is this a technology company and less of a garment, yeah, less of a B2B cloth apparel manufacturing company. Okay, why? Because now see, think about this. मैंने जो बोला कि like these people try to sell their clothes max to max on a D2C like e-commerce में, because one of the advantages of having e-commerce का site is you don't have to put up your brick and mortar store. आपका expenses कम होगा, everything, because imagine this, if you put up a store, there is so much upfront expenses, right? You have to pay the store rent, get all the renovation done, train the employees, make sure your stock is reaching the from the go down to the shop. So too many things that are there, right? And also if you put up your stores, what happens is it becomes very difficult to scale. Like if you go for a franchise mode, yes, but if you're going through your own store, Coco store, it becomes difficult to scale na after a point of time, right? And franchise mein agar aap jate ho, it becomes a tension ki like will the quality and the service that you may give to the customer, will it be maintained or not? So over here D2C is like the best option at the end of the day. Okay, now think about this. In D2C, what will happen is these people, like I told you, why there are technology companies, because they go and they find out वहाँ पे when one, if their product is listed, they see कि like, okay, now as of October, as of October, sorry, this is January, as of January right now, कि like what is the current trend, what are people really eyeing on, what is the kind of searches that you can see, like let's say in Myntra, what are people really searching for, what is the kind of fashion, which age group is searching for which kind of fashion, which kind of demand, which kind of cloth ka material. So they first collect all this data from the websites or from the platforms that they're hosted on. Okay, and then it's more like a back end. Usually what people do is it is front end. They do the product, and then they give, and they sell, and then they see how the outcome is. Here it is ulta. They collect the data, and then after that they do all of this work, कि like find out कि like कौन सा design अच्छा चल रहा है, कौन सा trend है, कौन सा age group में क्या है, which color is getting better, which kind of material they want, and then they use it, they create the product. Okay, and then they sell it. Again, once they're selling it also, again they use the data कि like let's say if they're making 10 stocks, okay, their inventory gets sold out really fast over here. Now again, there is another reason why, is because the technology plays over here. Okay, they once they sell, if they, let's say there are 10 stocks over here, they see कि like one stock is getting better, uska replenishment zyada ho raha hai, okay, compared to the other. They make sure they put their most focus in getting that product again on the website, than the other way around. So this way, they're really using technology to like stand a chance to like win from every other people. Okay, so unka agar aap khud ka brand dekhte ho, they have around two brands in the domestic. One is Thomas Scott and the other one is Hammersmith. And for the abroad, they have Namshi, 75, Robert Wood. These are their own brands. Other than that, if you see in Myntra, Flipkart group, they actually manufacture for a lot of other brands such as HRX, Anook, Roadster, all of this. And also for like Amazon, if you see Raymond, Wrong, Being Human, Symbol, I think these are the brands that we've come across in our day-to-day life, right? That is what they do. Okay? So overall, great. And one more thing over here is these people only manufacture men's clothes. They don't do any kind of women wear clothes. In women wear, they only manufacture bags, but again, it's a very small part of the revenue. Majority is happening from men only. Okay. Now let's come to the Q2FY25 numbers. Q2FY25 if you see, the sales is up by 63%. Agar आप half yearly देखते हो, the sale is up by 77%. Profit before tax is up by 45%, and आपका PAT जो है, PAT is up by 14%. Now why is the PAT only up by 14%? Is because last time in Q4 of not Q4, Q2 of FY24, you see that there was no tax paid. Okay, current tax कुछ नहीं था, but this time they paid a tax of around 1 to 1.5 crore. So as a result, the PAT with in comparison to last Q2, it seems very minimal, yeah, very less. Okay, now again, I do not know why last time tax was not paid and this time tax is paid. I have no clue on that. Could be some sort of accounting principle, probably they didn't have to pay a tax or anything, could be that. But overall, great show by Thomas Scott. Both I would say three companies, Thomas Scott, the other one is Thomas Scott hai, then Bella Casa, then Kitex. All of the three companies that are there has been doing really well. Very high sales growth. I think if you see, Kitex has a plan to reach 1000 crore revenue by this year end. Bella Casa has been, I think it's 3 straight quarters where they've been growing at 55 to 60%. Thomas Scott also is the same. They've been growing at a high double digit kind of growth. And I think recently these people did a QIP also, where I think the QIP was also very, very successful for them. So overall, great set of numbers, great show from everybody. Okay, so I would say in yarn and fabric, again, there is, you will see one thing with yarn and fabric space is the EBITDA margin that is there. It is only increasing because they're trying to cut cost one way or the other. Here, if you see, it is a combination of both, but only few companies are having growth over here. That is mainly aapka Kitex, Bella Casa, and Thomas Scott. Other people, if they have one, they probably have growth, operating leverage is missing, or probably it is once per at the moment in this quarter. So we really need to track for the other companies, and for these three companies we need to see if the pace of growth sustains or not. Okay, I think there is actually another company called as Swaraj Suiting, but yeah, even they have a really good guidance. Actually, I will cover that in the next video. So that's it about today's video. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.